Hello students, welcome to the session. I am Mr. M.H. Mota, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering. This session is on lifts which are used for the vertical transportation in buildings. So what is lift? The lift is a type of vertical transport equipment that efficiently moves either people or goods between the different floor levels of a building, a vessel, or any other structure. Generally, the lifts are powered by the electric motors that either drive by cables, hoist, or pump hydraulic fluid to raise a cylindrical piston like a jack. So we'll first try to understand certain basic terminologies used in the lift construction. So an elevator car. It is that part of an elevator that includes the platform, enclosure, car frame and the door. So elevator car is that part where we generally use to stand or keep the goods, and it includes the different things like platform, the enclosure cabin, the car frame to support it, and the door, which is ensuring the safety and allowing us to enter and exit at a particular point only. Next is a machine beam. It is a steel beam positioned directly over the elevator in the machine room and is used to support the elevator equipment. These elevator equipments mainly consists of the pulley to operate the lift as per the requirement. Third is a machine room. This is usually located at the top of the shaft and it accommodates all winding machines, etc. So machine room is that particular room where the every machinery is kept which is essential for the operation of the lift, and it is most of the times located exactly above the shaft of the lift. Next is a pit. It is that part of an elevator shaft that extends from the threshold level of the lowest landing door down to the floor at very bottom of the shaft. So this pit is located below the lowest part or a lowest surface or a lowest, say, a place which has been served by the lift. It is generally equipped with certain spring-like things which are capable to absorb the shock or the impact of the lift in case of any accident or so. A shaft is a hoistway through which one or more elevator cars may travel. So it is a place or a duct which is facilitating or allowing to place one or more elevators or the elevator cars to travel. Counterweight or balance weight. It is a unit consisting of steel weights which counterbalance the weight of the car and a portion of the load, and to which the suspension ropes are attached. So this is used to balance the movement of the say elevator car. Next is a traction drive. It is a lift whose lifting ropes are driven by friction in the grooves of the driving sheave of the machine. Next is trailing cable. It is a flexible cable providing electrical connection between the lift car and a fixed point or points. So this is a cable which is actually used to provide the electrical connection, and as we are aware, this is moving from the lift or elevator is moving from one point to another in the vertical direction. They are quite flexible enough, and they are connected with a fixed point from where supply has been made, and they are moving along with the lift. Bottom clearance. It is the distance including buffer compression the platform could travel below the bottom landing until the full weight of the car, when loaded, rests on the buffer. So it is bottom clearance. Top clearance is the vertical distance between the top car attachment and the bottom of the diverting pulley or any steelwork supporting the equipment. This must be adequate and the car will not contact the diverting pulley and steelwork. So it is top clearance. It is the space between the top of the say car and the bottom of the machine room, you can say. Next are the guide rails. These are fixed truly vertical in the shaft and are of steel and serve to guide the movement of both car and counterweight. So guide rails help the car or the lift to move in a vertical direction, and along with that they even serve the guide for the movement of counterweights which are moving exactly in the opposite direction of the lift. Now, passenger lift. Passenger lift is a lift designed for the transport of passengers only. So in this lift, generally the passengers along with a very small amount of goods they are carrying is permitted. Second is a goods lift. It is a lift designed primarily for the transport of goods, but which may carry a lift attendant or other person necessary for the unloading and loading of the goods. Such kind of lifts are generally available in factories or the shopping malls which are serving only for the purpose of movement of goods. So they generally used to have larger in size and their capacity even is more. Next is a service lift, which is even called as a dumbwaiter lift. It is a lift with a car which moves in guides in a vertical direction but has net floor area of around 1 meter square and total inside height of 1.25 meter. So it is very small box kind of thing with very little capacity like 250 kg or so, and it is extensively used for carrying material and not for any kind of person. So such lifts are generally used to say transport the goods which are to be carried out at different elevation without the help of any person. These are generally used in restaurant or say 5-star hotels, and which are generally connected with the kitchens. Hospital lift. It is a lift normally installed in a hospital, dispensary, clinic and designed to accommodate one number of bed or stretcher along with its depth with sufficient space around to carry a minimum of 3 attendants in addition to the lift operator. So the basic requirements of any lift. Whenever we are designing any lift, a civil engineer must be able to design the size of the lift shaft, the depth of the lift shaft, the area of space in lift, what should be the size of the lift inside that, and mechanical room size to serve the placing of the machines essential for the placing of different machines which are essentially to be used for the control of the movement of lift. Lifts are generally classified on the basis of their operation into 2 classes. Those are the drive system and the hydraulic traction or machine lift. So hydraulic lifts, as we are aware, as per the Pascal's principle, the pressure given to a liquid in a closed chamber will be continued by liquid to every direction with the uniform kind of pressure and with the same magnitude. On this particular basis, the hydraulic lifts are designed. The figure below shows the one possible use of such hydraulic lifts used for lifting of the vehicle. So in that, from left side, it is quite clear that pressure is exerted on a fluid which has been kept in a closed vessel or a chamber like thing, and from left, when the pressure is applied from the right side, there is exactly vertical pressure that has been exerted on the platform that has been placed above it, and which is resulting in the lifting of the, say, a vehicle also. So pressure is exerted equally in all parts and of an enclosed state fluid as per the Pascal's law, and it is resulting in the vertical movement of a platform. So this is the principle on which hydraulic lifts are operated. The different components of hydraulic lift includes a tank, motor, valve and actuator. So tanks are used to hold the liquid used in the system, and this liquid is usually oil based because it is not compressible and self-lubricating. The second is motor. So it constantly puts water into the system or the oil into the system and push oil into the cylinder to lift the elevator. Valves are used to let the water out of system when the pressure is released, keep the pressure low when it is open, and increase the pressure when closed. The actuator is a device that transfers fluid or electrical energy into mechanical energy. A piston moves because of this actuator in upward or downward direction. Second is traction lift or machine lift, which are very common in this part of the world. So in this, the car is raised and lowered by traction steel ropes rather than pushed from below. The ropes are attached to the elevator car, looped around a sheave and connected to an electrical motor. Sheave is a pulley-like thing which is used to operate the lift. Means a rope around it has been connected to the car and the counterbalanced weight as such, and they are helping to move the lift, and they are connected with electric motors. So these sheaves are generally rotated with the help of electric motors, and that allows the lift to move in a vertically upward or downward direction. When the motor turns one way, the sheave raises the elevator. When the motor turns to the other way, the sheave lowers the elevator. Typically, the sheave, the motor and the control systems all are housed in a machine room above the elevator shaft. The ropes that lift the car are also connected to counterweight, which hangs on the other side of the sheave. The counterweight and the car are perfectly balanced. Basically, motors only has to overcome friction. The weight on the other side does not most of the work. In gearless elevators, the motor rotates the sheave directly. In geared elevators, the motor turns a gear train that rotates the sheave. Nowadays, some traction elevators are used flat steel belts instead of a conventional steel rope. Flat steel belts are extremely light due to its carbon fiber core and high friction coating, and it does not require any oil or lubricating. The different components of such system includes control system, electric motor, a sheave, counterweight and guiding rail. A control system includes the sheave which rotates with the help of motor. That electric motor has got a pulley with a grooves around the circumference and grips the hoist rope, so when you rotate the sheave, the ropes move to connected to the motor. Sheaves. Then a counterweight. Counterweight hangs on other side of the sheave. It weighs about the same as the car filled to 40% capacity, and those are connected with the ropes. And the guiding rail are along the side of the elevator shaft. They keep the car and counterweight from swaying back and forth, and they also work with the safety system to stop the car in emergency. Well, that's it for this session. Let's meet in the next session to know more. Thank you for your patience listening and learning, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe my channel. Thank you.